Hello and welcome back to the channel. This is Dr. Meghana Dikshit. I'm the author of the book You Matter, Brain and Performance Expert and Ayurvedic Doctor. And if you're new to the channel, please subscribe and hit the bell icon for the videos every time you want to improve your life, stay healthy, be more successful and create definite results in your life. So let's begin. Today's topic is about 10 ways to develop self-control. Are you someone who's looking for creating more self-control in your life? Type SC or self-control in the chat box to start this video and dive straight in. Self-control. So why self-control is required in our life? For everything that you want to achieve in your life, all your goals, whether it's your health, whether it's your financial success, whether it's your stress management, whether it is about managing your emotions well, or having a great communication with your loved ones or in your professional sphere, self-control is everywhere. Because most of us are wired for instant gratification. There's a part of our brain which is called as reptilian brain, and reptilian brain back then, millions of years back, was only seeking safety and comfort. And this brain is still active in our space. So we also still today look for survival, look for comfort and instant gratification. This part of your brain is not thinking about life after 5 years. It's thinking about what's my next step. How do I get that rabbit to eat? Or maybe how do I save myself from that tiger? Or how do I eat that fruit first before the monkey reaches it? So this monkey brain, or you can talk about the reptilian brain, which is wired for instant gratification. And the biggest reason extraordinary people are different from the ordinary people is they are able to control their urge of instant gratification. So if you want to be more successful, this is one thing that you need in your life. And in this video, I'm going to explore 10 different ways you can start developing self-control. So if you are ready, type ready in the chat box and let's begin. The first and the most important thing that you need for self-control is clarity of your goals. Like if you don't know where you want to go, what's your destination? Will you be able to start the journey ever? No. So it's very important that you start setting goals in every area of your life. And the biggest mistake most people make is they keep setting the goals in their mind. No. You want more self-control, you have to be more committed to your goals. And the first step to be committed to your goals is putting them out on the paper. For me, it's putting a vision board. For me, it's having a great, huge vision board right in front of me, in front of my workstation or next to my bed, gives me a constant reminder that I have to be on track with my goals. Now, if I want to be healthy, or if I want to live longer, if I want to live healthier, happier, and in my mental space, in my physical space, I need to eat right. I need to avoid eating the carbs or excessive sugar or excessive salt. I need to see that I'm eating the right kind of food. So all my food items that I want to remind myself to eat more often are on my vision board. More vegetables, more complex carbs, more whole grains, more proteins and more vegetables. All of these are right there on my vision board. Because most of the times we too much believe in our mind. That's not true. I mean, you can't really rely on your mind all the time. As I said, there's a part of your mind which is still that mind which is looking for instant gratification. So when you have those cues of your clear set goals right in front of you, written or maybe in picture form, it is a reminder for you to stay healthy. Second thing that you need to do is you need to put in your relationship goals. You need to put in your financial goals. You need to put in your career goals. What do you want to accomplish? Maybe every single day, maybe in a month's time, maybe quarterly, maybe yearly. Setting clear goals is your first step for self-control. Now, once you have set your goals, it's essential for you to understand what triggers you. What are your triggers? What are your stimulations that throw you off track? You got to be self-aware. Understanding your triggers and your, external stimulations that take you off track your goals will help you to moderate them. Avoid those triggers or maybe start developing different coping mechanisms. So once you have put out your goals, I want you to also make a list of your triggers. Is it a person? Is it an activity? Is it a situation? What is it that triggers you? A lot of people want to be healthy, but they can't remain healthy because Sometimes it's a party, sometimes it's a social gathering, sometimes it's an emotional dilemma that puts them off the track and they get into eating something which is unhealthy for their body. So if you're doing any of that, you need to write it down so that you can become more aware of how to deal with them. Now, once you have understood what are your triggers and what stimulates you to then, go off track your goals or your desires or your dreams, essential for you to take care of those triggers by using mindfulness practices. For me, my biggest strength is using meditation and gratitude and thought journal. Like I have a dump journal, literally dump journal, where every time I feel my mind is getting distracted or it's getting hyper or I'm getting excessively triggered by something, I quickly take out my notebook and I start writing every thought that comes to me. Now, what happens is very, very simple thing. When you start writing every thought that comes to you, it helps your brain to slow down. Your thoughts automatically stop racing and start slowing down. The moment your thoughts start slowing down, it helps you to stay more in the present moment. Every time you get stimulated or you get triggered, you're either in the past or you're in the future. Now, when you start doing these mindfulness practices, you may not see immediate results. Like you cannot develop your body just in one day going to the gym, right? It takes some time to develop yourself. So similarly, the mindfulness practices, whether you have a trigger or you don't have a trigger. So continuous practices of mindfulness will help you in the face of your trigger or your stimulation to stay happy and stay productive and also cope with it effectively and not really get back into the old patterns of behaviors. Fourth step is to develop healthy habits. Nothing happens overnight. You must know that. So what is that one habit you want to start developing today? Is it waking up 15 minutes before the time that you actually wake up? Is it, removing excessive sugar from your diet? And is it sticking to maybe sweets once in a week? Is it eating more natural foods? Is it drinking more water? Is it practicing pause in a relationship when you're getting triggered by someone? Is it practicing pause? Is it making sure that sending a thank you note to your loved one every single day? What is it, that one habit that you want to start developing today? Remember, you can start developing habits just in one day. But for those habits to then sustain, it takes a little longer time because your brain works on neural networks. And these neural networks, as much as they get stronger and stronger, you will be able to see you are able to sustain that new habit. Now, how do you do it? You don't do too much. You start small and you increase it incrementally. Every single day doing those small things eventually will build that bigger habit and it will be sustained. It will become automatic so that you don't have to think that, oh, I have to wake up. Like when I wanted to wake up early in the morning, earlier I used to start with an alarm. And then I eventually realized that alarms are not good for our brain because it just takes us out from the deeper states to a quick awakened state, and that's something that creates a sleep paralysis. So I started then training my brain to not use alarms. How did I do this? Very simple. I started telling my brain in the night before I went to sleep. I started telling my brain that I want to wake up 15 minutes before. So suppose I was waking up at 7 o'clock and I wanted to wake up at 6:30. I started telling my brain, just at 6:45, my eyes are opening up. It didn't happen on a day 1, it didn't happen on a day 2, but then I started developing. I used to have the 7 o'clock alarm, but I used to wake up at 6:45, so the alarm never rang. And eventually now 6:45 became to 6:30, 6:30 became 6:15, 6 o'clock, 5:45, 5:30. So now, anytime I want to wake up in the morning, I just have to inform my brain well in advance before I go to sleep that I want to wake up at this time. And I automatically feel that my eyes open up at that exact time without alarm. But this is something that I developed over a period of time. So which is that one habit that you want to start developing and want to sustain it? Let me know in the comment section. It will be interesting to see what are some of the habits that you want to develop. Fifth step is prioritize delayed gratification. I can't emphasize enough on this most important activity, and I've done a full video on delaying gratification. You can check that video. how to avoid instant gratification, how to get into the delayed gratification. But this is something which is very, very critical aspect. The more you delay the gratification, the easier your brain will pick up the habits. We are all, as I said, wired for instant gratification, and that's where we lose the self-control. You want to develop more self-control, you want to start delaying your gratifications. We all are dopamine junkies. Our brain requires dopamine, and that dopamine, if it comes from quickly looking at the phone, looking at the notification, checking how many likes you got, all of these are the instant gratifications. So how about, let's take an example of your phone. So how about checking your phone every 2 hours? Putting yourself into that schedule of, I'm going to use my phone for 5 to 10 minutes only in this time. And say that every 2 hours I will check it. There is no emergency in the world. You can practically inform all your loved ones that if they need you immediately, they can make a call to you. You don't need to go and check on the internet what's happening. Start developing yourself. What you can also do is, if you can restrict the time, like every 2 hours when you go onto the phone, then you don't spend 1 hour on it. Then you spend only 5 to 10 minutes. So how can you start doing this? When you start delaying that gratification, automatically your brain will have to force to pump dopamine naturally. And when that natural release of dopamine happens, it sustains for a longer period of time. And that will really help you to start developing that control on various other areas. Remember, small successes leads to bigger success. So you need to start developing these small successes and also be ready to stay, in that space of, you may lapse, you may slide back, and you should be okay with it. That's all right. You get back to the track one more time. The sixth and the most important activity here would be creating accountability. As I said earlier also in my previous videos, that human beings are social creatures. We like and we perform better when you are in your groups or teams. So share your goals with a trusted friend or an accountability partner who's on the same track or trying to follow the same goals. Having an accountability partner, see, if you go to the gym and if you have a personal trainer, it's like your accountability partner. And that accountability partner can push you, pull you when you are down in dumps. So it's extremely essential that you create an accountability partner where you share your goals and you start working towards it along with the partner. The next step would be to practice self-care. This is one of the biggest lessons that I learned in my life. I've always been a very hard-working person, but somehow I could never get the results that I wanted. Because every time it came to self-care, I would keep postponing it, saying, I don't have time. I don't have this luxury of money to go and do something for myself. But only after a few years I realized, because I was not taking care of myself, my soul, my mind, my brain was not happy with me. Every time I was doing things for other people and I was working harder and harder and harder, my brain, my soul was feeling that, this is good for nothing. Why are you doing this? It's not helping you at all. So the first most important thing that I learned is self-care may look like for some people like me, I was extremely critical about self-care. I was extremely, in terms of self-care, I always gave excuses. I now have started realizing that small little gesture that you do towards yourself, that small little self-care will really take you a very long way. It will recharge you, it will rejuvenate you, it will refuel you. And most importantly, it will start making you fulfilled, content in things that you're doing for your future. So self-care. What is your self-care? What do you like to do? Would you like to go in a coffee shop and sit by yourself? Would you like to go to a salon, a spa? A small little thing. What is it that you want to do as a self-care? Is it sleeping a little longer one day? Is it like maybe meeting a friend and just connecting with somebody? Is it reading a book that you love and you have not done for a very long time? Is it playing a game? What is it for you that's the definition of self-care? Let me know in the chat box. I'm collecting different definitions of self-care because I want to really make sure that we have a self-care video created, and it would be a great help if you are regular on this channel, that if you can share with me what's your routine of self-care. I will compile all of that and create a video for our viewers so that people will have more ideas. A lot of people don't know and don't have ideas about self-care and celebrations. It's very critical that we start incorporating these small little activities to start training our brain to then becoming more and more self-controlled. 8. Use positive affirmations. I cannot emphasize enough about the positive affirmations and its real good power on our mind. I've done a complete elaborate video on using powerful affirmations. Please go check that if you need to know more about affirmations. But start developing positive affirmations around your goals that you have set in the first step. What is it that you want to listen to from the world? What is it that you want to listen to more from your loved ones? How would you like your world to appreciate you? Start appreciating yourself first. Start telling yourself how good you are. What are the good things about you, good qualities about you, or what are some of the positive affirmations that you want to remind yourself? I'm a great learner. I'm a great listener. And start talking about your traits, not about your external appearances. You can do that as well, but maybe start talking about your behavioral traits. I'm a great communicator. I'm learning to be a great communicator. I'm assertive. I'm learning to be assertive. Maybe you're at this point of time, you're not a great communicator, or maybe you're not a great listener, or maybe you're not a great assertive person, but can you learn to become one? So when you add learning to your affirmation, it really motivates your brain to go find ways to learn to be that person. 9th, and the most important step is to avoid decision fatigue. I see a lot of people wasting a lot of time making small decisions and taking a lot of time to make those small decisions. Like if you've seen Steve Jobs, Mark Zuckerberg, they all wear the same color t-shirts. One of the reasons that they do that is because they do not want to think about what do I wear today. It's a small decision. Your brain is taking more than 35,000 decisions every single day. And most of them are unconscious, involuntary decisions. What are some of the decisions that you will take in advance? Like, what meals would you like to eat for 7 days? And if you make a list of 7 days, 3 times a meal and stick it on your fridge, think about how much time it will save. You can do the meal preps in advance. You can prepare, your masalas. You can prepare your keep your vegetables ready. You can keep your fruits ready. You can do all of those preps when you have a list of 7 different days, 3 times a meal ready. This is one example. It could be same with your clothes. If you're going 5 days, 6 days a week to the office, what clothes would you like to wear? If you have a clear, organized environment around you, that the decisions that you're taking every single day and which are really not very important cognitive decisions, maybe preparing for these decisions in advance and sticking them. You will save a lot of time and it will also help you to be in more self-control. I've spoken to a lot of nutritionists and dietitians. A lot of times people slip back from their diet plan is because they fail to prepare in advance. So if you have not prepared, you will just pick up something that's right in front of you, right? So how about preparing in advance, being more organized in small little things so that you can avoid that decision fatigue? And the 10th and the most important, the cherry on the cake, is learning from your setbacks. As I said earlier also, while developing self-control, please do not expect that for 365 days you have not done it and suddenly on the day 1 you will be able to do it. You're going to set back, you're going to slip back, you're going to slide back. Learn from your sliding back. What is the pattern that you experience? What are the feedback that you're getting? What are some of the things that you're not able to keep on track, and what better things can you incorporate so next time you don't slide back? Life is a lifelong learning journey. And if you become a lifelong learner, you will become so wise by the end of 3 months to 6 months time that you will start experiencing immense self-control, great emotions and mood regulations, and amazing cognitive functions like memory and spot problem solving and decision making abilities. If this video helped you, give me a thumbs up, leave a comment and share it with at least 10 people and tell me which one of the 10 ways are your favorite ones. Mine are 1, 3, 8, 9 and 10. Which is yours? Let me know in the comment section. Just give me the numbers, that's enough. See you next time.